And today we've got a couple of victims in here. So we're not going to talk about that one. We're going to move on over to this guy. So this guy is a 2011 Nissan Titan and leaking rear axle seal, and we're going to take this apart as she's already kind of loose. We're going to take this apart and I will show you step by step replacing the wheel bearing and axle seal on the rear differential of a 2011 Nissan Titan. Here we go. So first things first, remove the tire. If your tire's like our tire and it's leaking and you got lots of axle goodness all around here, then remember to beware of the back of the tire that's going to be slimy and greasy and gross to touch. So now we're going to proceed with removing the brakes here. We're going to remove the rotor and the caliper, and then we got to remove the four bolts at the back here. I'll get a light and I'll show you what's up. First things first, caliper comes off. I believe these are 10s, two 10s, and then we're going to remove the caliper, and then I'll show you the bolts in the back after we remove the rotor as well. All right, with the caliper and rotor out of the way now you can really see all the oil that's all over the place. So we're gonna get our slide hammer, we're gonna get our hub face, and we're gonna get ready to pull the axle out of here. But before we do that, we're gonna remove the retaining bolts, which are these 4 bolts here. So there's 4 of them. There's 2 on the top, 2 on the bottom. 1, this is number 2, and then 3 is down there, and 4 is over here on the other side. So let's remove them, and then we'll hook the slide hammer up, and we'll give her a pull. We'll see what happens. All right, now with those 4 bolts out at the back, as you can see, the bolts are out, or the nuts are off, I should say. Now it's time to hook up your slide hammer, and don't forget to get your drain pan because things are about to get a little bit messy. So it's slide hammer party time. Yay! All right, slide hammer party time. We're all set up. Let's see if I can do this one-handed and not make a huge mess. Let's see here. Apparently not. Might need 2 hands for this. Well, she's out. It's the next day, because I gave up and walked away from this thing yesterday. But the axle's finally out. What I ended up having to do was I had to heat up the housing with that little torch that's right there. Had to heat up the housing, and then I finally got it to come apart. The seal that was here was basically fused to the housing with rust. It was quite difficult to get apart. Like, I was really thinking that I wasn't going to get it apart, but eventually, with enough cursing and enough swearing and enough hits of the slide hammer, she came out. So now we've got to move into getting rid of this old bearing and seal and get ready for installation of the new one. First things first, we got to remove this snap ring that's here. So let's get this set up and we'll do that. Alright, so once you get it all out, get it mounted up on your bench vise here and start making some cuts. So you see right here I cut this bearing race. That's after I got everything else off. I cut the bearings out of it. Down here's your plate. There's your old seal that was all fused to the differential housing. Cut this guy. She pops right off. Here's the rest of your bearing cage. So just give everything a little bit of a cut and she all falls apart. There's the other bit of your bearing cage over there. Once it all falls apart, we'll clean it all up. I just slightly nicked it right there, but that'll be fine. I'm going to clean it right up and get it all ready, and then we're going to get our new bearing and seal and everything and get it ready and push it on into place, and then we can reinstall this axle and ship it. Alright, so once you get the other axle all ready, make sure you pop your race out of here if your race stayed behind. So this is all ready for the new axle. Now we come over here where we have our new axle. Well, our old axle with our new bearing and everything. So new bearing there, new seal, new everything. Now we just got to bring this over to the press and set it up and get ready to press it into place. All right, my first round attempt at pushing this in, I just have 2 pieces of angle iron on the bottom piece there, and I'm gonna just attempt to press this down. Chances are my angle iron is gonna bend just like that one did, if you look right here. But I'm gonna try it first, and then we will see what happens. When you have it right, she just presses into place very, very easily. Oh, now she's getting a little stiff, and we're probably bending it. But as we're a couple whacks of the hammer come into place, and we'll get her there. All right, now once you switch over to 2x2 because your angle iron was failing you, make sure you push it down all the way, enough so that your snap ring goes back on. You know you're all the way down when your snap ring is available to go back into place. So then we're going to take it from here and put the snap ring back on and get ready to reinstall this thing. All right, axle's all ready to go back in, snap ring's back into place. Everybody's looking good. Just do one last final check. Make sure everything's ready to go. Now we're going to slide the axle back into the truck. Button everything back up as far as the brakes and all that stuff go. And then we're going to top up the rear end fluid. And after that, she's done. All right, and that's it. So we've reinstalled the axle and torqued the wheel bearing and everything. We have topped up the rear diff fluid, so that's all good. Axle's in, brakes are all in, wheels torqued. Time for this thing to drive out the door. Bye.